Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are not able to hear me, send me a note. Let me know that you're not able to hear me. Otherwise, great. Let's get going on this. Today we're going to talk about freeing yourself from limiting beliefs, part 2 of 4. And we're going to do a recap. Hopefully you've listened to the first part already and practiced it. We've had 2 weeks to kind of work through some of those wants and needs. So let's talk about the next or the review of this and see what we have. So we talked about 3 levels of wants and needs. And just to quickly recap, the 3 levels of wants and needs are: the first level is me, everything about me. And that's not necessarily bad. I mean, it's fine if if you have other wants and needs that are more level 2 and level 3. But there's nothing wrong with me. The second level is us meaning my family, my neighborhood, my country, to the exclusion of others. So we focus more on inward, more towards us. And the third level is, of course, expanding into humanity. This is best for humanity. And those are the 3 levels of wants and needs. We also realize that the third level and the second level of wants and needs creates more inspiration than the first level. So when we talk about us, this is about us. It creates a lot more inspiration, a lot more drive. When we talk about humanity, it creates a more inspiration for us. So if there's a way that we can connect our wants and needs to that of level 2, which is how do we serve us, our family, our group, our community, our country, our continent, whatever that is. And then when we expand beyond that, how do we serve humanity as a whole? So we asked you to review your wants and needs every day, because there's going to be some modification that's going to happen as you get more inspired. And so to give you more inspiration as you reflect upon it, so that you can tune into that inspiration. And the way to really get more inspiration is, if you've got a level 1 need, move it to level 2, or try and rewrite it so that you move it to level 2. Or from level 2 to level 3. So, that was your 2 weeks. So if you have actually worked on this and you want to share with me, or whoever's on here now, or whoever will be listening to this later, please type that in and let us know what your modified wants and needs goals are, and see how you've written it, articulated it, such that it's level 2 or level 3. And then one more thing that I asked you to do, and that is what will lead us into today's conversation, is what are some of the thoughts that come through when reflecting on your wants and needs. So there may be encouraging thoughts saying, yeah, you got this, or naysayer thoughts, which say that, how are you going to do this? This is not in your wheelhouse. You've never succeeded before. Those naysayer thoughts. So those are the ones we want to write down, because there are some recurring ones. And if there's naysayer thoughts that always come through, we want to address that, because that's your clue for what your limiting beliefs are. So now that we've kind of reviewed what we did last week, let us talk about naysayer thoughts that are not meant to help you reach heights. They're meant to deflate your inspiration. So here are examples, and I just threw these examples from the individuals that I work with, and they've make it known to me that these are some of the excuses that they make because they don't want to do something. I don't have enough money to do that. That's a classic one. I had a client who felt that she needed to leave the marriage, and her response is, if I leave the marriage, I would, right now the marriage is collapsing me. I'm being emotionally abused, all of those things, and if I leave the marriage, I don't have enough money to do that. So, I mean, I didn't guide her one way or the other. I'm not a marriage counselor. I just listened to her. About a month later, she ended up leaving anyways. So in that 1 month, she talked herself out of it, but then it became too much that she left. And now she's doing really well, actually. I just connected with her not too long ago. So when we say, I do not have enough money to do that, more often than not, you need to dig deeper below that, because there's something else that's stopping you. That just seems very convenient. I don't have enough money to do that. Okay, so that may be the reality, but you want to dig to the actual limiting belief that's underlying that. So yes, you may not be able to do it because you don't have the money right now, but can we turn it around such that you will actually create more wealth in your life through practicing what we are doing, through getting rid of the limiting belief? Okay. This is a common one. I always have bad luck. I never succeed at anything I do. I fail at everything I do. Everyone is smarter than me. People are getting more ahead in life than I am. And I guess I just gotta live with that. Okay. So now I'd like you to go back and look at your wants and needs, and I want you to imagine you achieving those, and then monitor what naysayer thoughts are coming to your head. If you already have that because you've been practicing for 2 weeks, share with me and type that down. Okay, so I'm going to give you about a minute to think about all the things you want to do and what the naysayer thoughts that are coming to you. So one of the things that we want to understand is that those naysayer thoughts are actually clues about your limiting beliefs. Okay, so I'll give you a bit of a little time, about a minute, so that you can actually think and put some naysayer thoughts down, and then we can take that and we can now turn them into limiting beliefs, and then we can turn the limiting beliefs and kind of turn them around and work with those. Okay, so I'll give you about a minute to do that now. So type them in as you have them, so I know that you've got them. Okay, I see some comments coming through. And cell phone use. I'm told to learn new stuff. I'm too old to learn new stuff. I'm not sure what the reference to cell phone use is. Maybe you can clarify. But yes, I'm too old to learn new stuff. That's the one I missed. Yes, that is very common. Michelle says, not good enough. I don't deserve that. They can have. It's not for me. All right. So they're allowed to have, but not for you. Okay. Those are good ones. Let's see if we can crack that code. Okay. Right here, right now. So next thing I want us to do is I want us to look for limiting beliefs in those statements. Okay. So and we can dig down deeper. So let me give you an example of a limiting belief, how to decode that from your naysayer thought. So the first one in my example that I played earlier is, I don't have enough money to do that. And so, what is the limiting belief around that? The limiting belief around that is I believe, and start with always I believe, because that is your limiting belief. So, start with that statement. I believe that I'm not able to earn more than I am now. That is your belief. Okay. So, I don't have enough money to do that is really kind of buoyed by I believe that I'm not able to earn more than I am now. That's a belief. That's my belief. Okay. When you say, I always have bad luck, I believe that I will never catch a break. I fail at everything I do. Well, I believe that I'm incapable of accomplishing my life's goals. Everyone is smarter than me. I believe that my views are not important. My peers are further ahead in life than me. I believe I will always lag behind my peers in accomplishments. So now, what I'd like you to do is I want you to take those thoughts that you had shared with me and others that you may not have shared with me, the naysayer thoughts, and I want you to transcribe those, translate them into limiting beliefs. So start with I believe and then write that down. And I know that it'll give you a lot of pain when you see it written down. Those are your limiting beliefs. Okay. So I'll give you another minute to do that because this is important. This is very important for us to uncover this. And don't worry, because over the next 2 weeks, when you are going, I'm going to show you how to uncover your limiting beliefs. You may not hit the target on the nose here, but over the next 2 weeks, as you continue to do this practice and interrupt your naysayer thoughts, turn it around into what would the limiting belief be? You will hone in on the actual limiting beliefs, which will prepare us for lesson 3, which we're going to actually delete those at the cellular level. So this work is there to prepare us for getting rid of them and replacing them with something better. Okay. So let us begin that process of uncovering your limiting beliefs. I'm going to give you another minute to actually look for limiting beliefs. I'm going to leave those statements up here so you have an idea of what I'm looking for in terms of what is your limiting belief statement associated with a naysayer thought. So take another minute. Okay, how are things going with the belief statements? Are you getting them down? You want to share, please do. So my limiting belief. When I say, I shared with this to the group earlier today, the espresso shot group. I said, my programs are not benefiting anybody, and my belief in that is that I'm not good enough. I'm not valued. People don't value my services. That's the limiting belief. And so, I know that over here, that doesn't make sense to me because a lot of people come to me for support and service. But that kind of shows up once in a while, and then I have to interrupt it, and then I have to replace it. So I don't, if you want to share with me what your beliefs are based on your naysayer thoughts. So, for example, if you say I'm too old to learn new stuff, and you said that. So your belief system is that, I believe that once you're old, that you should stop learning new things. I believe that old people cannot learn new things. I believe someone of my age is not able to pick up new things. That's a belief, right? And sure, and that and that in many cases that might be valid. But let's see if we can dig deeper into that. So over the next 2 weeks, when we look at that, really challenge that belief. Challenge it in a way that is that really my is it really I'm saying I'm too old to do this, or is there something underlying that? Is there something that says I'm not smart enough to do this? See, old is just it's just a number. People learn new things all the time. So maybe that is not the naysayer thought. Maybe it comes up as that, but maybe there's a different belief system underlying that. So it's a matter of exploration. And the way you explore it is basically walk around. And when you actually experience a deflation or a dropping of vibration, ask yourself, what thought just came through for me? And at that point in time, that thought will become more crisper and clearer to you and saying, oh, these are the thoughts I'm getting over all the time. So for you, Anne, take the next couple of weeks to actually interrupt those thoughts, jot them down, and see if you can find a belief system that lines up with those thoughts and say, okay, this is my limiting belief system. Okay. For Michelle, for you, I'm not good enough. So basically, I believe everyone deserves more than I do. That's your belief system. I believe that I don't deserve good things in life. That could be another limiting belief. I believe that everyone else, or I believe that I'm not deserving of anything that's joyful for me. And then we go down into the when you state that belief system, you will see thoughts that reinforce that. Okay, so when you state, and it's okay because we're going to break through that. Don't worry about that. So when you state that belief system, you write it down, thoughts will come to you to reinforce that. Yeah, you know what? Last time this person did this and I didn't get this and I didn't have that. I don't have this. I don't have that. So once you've written down this particular limiting belief statements, and you'll get the thoughts that reinforce it, that's when you know you've actually got a good limiting belief statement. What we want to do is we want to start working on the opposite of that. So the opposite of that belief system is, I'm not good enough. I believe I am not good enough for, I believe I'm not valued by others. The opposite belief system, obviously, is I believe that I add value to other people's life. I believe I'm a positive change in other people's life. Let me take you through some examples before I ask you to do that for your belief systems, okay? So in the example that I stated earlier, I believe that I'm not able to learn more than I am now. I believe that I can earn, not learn. I believe that I can earn more money than I have ever earned before. That's your opposite belief statement. So now, when you replace that belief statement, you will be flooded with examples. Okay. If you're not flooded with examples, I have a way to address that. But you will be flooded with examples of when you actually were, when that statement held true. For the limiting belief that I believe that I will never catch a break is I believe that the universe has my back and will provide experiences that benefit me. That's just an example. Yours could be different. And in the belief that I'm incapable of accomplishing my life's goals, the opposite belief is I believe that my efforts will yield positive results for me and others. In the statement, I believe that my views are not important. I believe that I'm important and valued by others. Okay. Where you say, I believe I will always lag behind my peers in accomplishments. I believe that my accomplishments are at par or better than my peers. Okay. So you can see how you can shift that limiting belief and replace with a new statement. Now, you know that you've got a new statement. You know that you've got the right replacement belief system when you start getting flooded with remembrance of examples where these things did actually happen. Our human biology is such that we remember things that happen that are not very pleasant. It's there to protect us. We have systems in place to protect us from predators. And limiting beliefs that cause us grief and anxiety or a predator, the emotions that we experience when we see a predator or emotions we experience as a result of our own imagination, the body doesn't know the difference. Chemicals are released in the same way. And so what happens is you always stay in what do you call it? The fight or flight response, which is right at your brain stem here, which is the actual animal instinct brain. And so we want to get out of that, and we want to get into that state of inspiration. You cannot be inspired while you're in fear. So the idea here is to turn your limiting belief statements around such that you can read your new statements and then say, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. Like that totally is true. And as soon as you start doing that, you're now getting ready to interrupt your naysayer thoughts, which have an underlying limiting belief, and you can reintroduce this new belief and saying, no, I believe that I can earn more money than I have ever earned before. I believe that. Okay. There is one more step to take beyond this to really get it into your cellular structure, but that's going to happen on session 3. All right. So I'd like you to take some time now, and I want you to create the opposite of what you created on your limiting beliefs. And I'll leave this up here so you can take a look at the examples. Okay. So take up another minute or so to make your limiting beliefs and take the opposite of that, because this is going to be important. All right. If you want to share what your new limiting beliefs are, please do. Feel free to type them in. And this is, this is going to be key for us now to actually move into the next phase of actually allowing us to break through and interrupt these thoughts. So we need to interrupt these thoughts. And so the way we interrupt these thoughts is to actually find a limiting belief or find a replacement belief and absorb that into our system, which will then dominate the limiting belief. So one of the things we want to do is to actually tap into the source wisdom and access that deeper wisdom, and to confirm that these are the right replacement belief systems that we need to work on. Sometimes what happens is when we focus on a particular limiting belief, we think that's a limiting belief. I gave you an example about I don't have enough money to do that. Sometimes that's not a limiting belief. It may come across as that, and that is a limiting kind of belief, that I believe that I will never be able to earn more than I am now. But there's something underlying that belief. There's something underlying that we really need to, that's the one we need to deal with. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take you through a process where we're going to access source wisdom to connect with source wisdom and get wisdom about what are really the key belief systems that I need to replace. And so let us go into that process now. So I just want you to get comfortable right now. And I'm going to ask you to just close your eyes and be comfortable and just listen to my voice very gently, very softly. Take slow, deep, gentle breaths. So just take a few breaths as you place awareness in the area of the heart, taking slow, deep, gentle breaths and experiencing these breaths flowing in and out of your heart. Let us do that for a few breaths. And now take deeper breaths. Imagine these breaths are flowing into your heart, down to your perineum or root chakra, and out from your root chakra and out through your heart. And take your breaths even further below, right down to your feet. And through your feet, imagine going to the center of the earth. And then as you exhale, draw the loving energy of Gaia from the center of the earth through your feet, perineum, heart, and outward. So breathe in like you're breathing into Mother Gaia, and breathing out, receiving all the love and bounty and inspiration from your mom, energetically from the earth. As you take these slow, deep, gentle breaths in and accessing Gaia and exhaling, imagine these breaths are flowing out of you in a big, huge bubble that surround you for as far as you can imagine. And as you draw these breaths in, imagine them coming in through that bubble from source into your heart, going down to your perineum, down your legs, all the way down to the middle of the earth, and then coming up from the middle of the earth through your legs, through your perineum, from your heart and outward, and filling this beautiful bubble of yours with love and wisdom, inspiration. The inspiration is flowing. Imagine this happening for you. And now, when you take your replacement belief systems, replacement belief statements, imagine you're writing it out in the air within the bubble that you're forming around you as you continue to take these slow, deep, gentle breaths. Supported by Gaia, you're flooded with this bubble of love and gratitude and appreciation. Write out your replacement limiting beliefs in the air. Write it out and see that writing in front of you. And as you complete writing that, I want you to imagine that statement flowing into your heart, going all the way down to Mother Gaia. And then Mother Gaia will transform it into energy imprint of that replacement belief and draw it back into your heart from Mother Gaia and outward. And as you breathe out from your heart, rewrite the same belief, replacement belief, or another replacement belief. And as you take breaths in, imagine that statement flowing into your heart, going down to Mother Gaia and being turned into an energetic form of that replacement belief with so much power and energy that it will replace your limiting belief. And as you draw that back up through your feet into your heart, do this several times and cycle through your replacement beliefs in this way for the next 5 minutes. Keep your awareness in the area of the heart as you draw these breaths in and as you draw these belief statements into your heart, all the way down to Mother Gaia to transmute them into energy packets. And as you receive that from Mother Gaia and you exhale, it goes right through your system, into your heart, and then outward, beyond you. Within the big bubble that you carry around, it'll always be there for you. Slow, deep, gentle breaths. Are you getting more inspiration as you draw these replacement belief systems into your heart? Are you receiving confidence, confirmation that these belief systems are actually taking root, planting seeds, and over time they will become more amplified and will eventually replace your limiting beliefs? It'll be an organic transformation. You won't even know that this shift has happened. You will recognize it after you've behaved in a certain way that is different than you've behaved in the past. That is what we look forward to. So experience this amazing energy that's coming to you from Gaia in support of your life's desires, because you deserve it. Your birthright is to be in joy. Your birthright is to create and express. Your birthright is to raise your vibration such that you are experiencing the best life that you want to experience. Anything that feels like it's not joyful will still feel like an experience worthwhile. Slowly open your eyes if you had them closed. Please let me know if you have any reflections or thoughts or anything that came through for you. Sometimes Spirit will give you and guide you information and let you know that the belief systems need to be modified or adjusted. You may receive more inspiration. Michelle, you have a belief system, a replacement belief system that says, I believe I am capable of setting and achieving my goals. Beautiful. And then I believe I'm deserving of rewarding experiences and successes. This is how you interrupt those thoughts. I believe there's abundance for each and every one of us. Yes, that's a powerful belief statement, because sometimes when we see somebody else achieving great results that we wish we have, we sometimes experience deflation because we think that that person has now experienced that there'll be less for me. So when you say things like, I believe there's abundance for each and every one of us, you're saying that the sandbox is big enough that everybody can prosper. And that is a very powerful sentiment, because when you experience, when you say that somebody else's joy is not going to take away from my joy, that's a big thing. I mean, I went through that up until 2019. I remember I was in Mexico doing a presentation for the Cryon's 30th anniversary. And I actually shared this with the crowd. I said, one day I was looking at Facebook posts, and this person that I had coached some time back published a new book. And she got a lot of accolades for that. And she was out there. She published it. It accomplished it. And I had been trying to write a book since 2017. I still haven't written one yet. But I've been trying to write a book, and she accomplished. So I felt deflated by her success initially. Then I realized, okay, there's a limiting belief in there that says the sandbox isn't big enough, that if somebody succeeds, I have to take it comes from me. We've been brought up with that. If you look at the financial systems, in the stock market, when somebody gains a lot of money, it comes from somebody who loses a lot of money. So, being an engineer and being brought up from a left brain perspective, somebody else's gain is my loss, because that's where the gains come from, is from somebody losing money. So to me, I didn't realize how deep that was in me until I realized that I flagged that, and I started working towards that. So now I get excited when somebody experiences some sort of joy or some accomplishment, and I celebrate with them. So thank you, Michelle, for that belief statement. That's a very powerful belief statement. Okay, so what we want to do now is to give you 2 weeks to actually process this. So you can go back to the replay. I'll be publishing it, in short order. But when you go through this practice, start with start with interrupt your thoughts. So when you actually go through life in the next 2 weeks, you'll get a thought saying, I'm too old to do this, or I'm not good enough to do this. Take note, interrupt it, write it down. And then, when you've got the time at the end of the day, look at those naysayer statements, turn them into limiting belief statements. And if they're actually coincide with the ones we created here, fantastic. If not, modify them and build upon that, and then turn them into opposites. So what is the opposite of that limiting belief? And then once you turn them into opposite, then go into this particular guided meditation. You'll have the replay, and then start energetically putting it into your system as a replacement belief system. We're not there at the cellular level of actually overriding this belief system. Not yet. I mean, there are some cellular changes that are going to happen as you do this energetic work, and allowing Gaia to take your statements, turning them into energy packets and putting it back into your system, and you're broadcasting that. Yes, that changes at a cellular level, but the more deeper changes are going to happen in the next class, where we're actually going to take those belief statements and we're going to turn them into gratitude statements. And then we're going to really allow that to sit and anchor within our system. Okay. So it's important that you reflect upon your wants and needs, and your naysayer thoughts will still come up, and then identify that, as I mentioned. Okay. The other thing is that, as I said, practice accessing source wisdom to reinforce that replacement belief, but also confirm it. Sometimes source wisdom will come at you and say, there's a different belief system here and you need to work with. So, whatever you get, and don't edit it, write it down. Okay. Then going back to your wants and needs, okay, because we worked on wants and needs level 1, 2, and 3. See if those wants and needs are changing or shifting. So modify them and modify your replacement beliefs as you take this next 2 weeks. Okay. And really, when you come back in week 3, you'll be ready to get to the next level. So be sure to have all this work done. That's why we have 2 weeks in between these things, so that you can do all the work in order to get that, get the real kind of goods on this. The other thing is, even if you don't have a good idea now, your process is starting. So don't worry, the process is starting. You will eventually get to a point where you'll actually recognize these things very quickly. You may have to go back and do the 4 sessions again, but you have access to that. Okay, so you can go back and listen to the replays and just start moving in this direction. Okay, all right. So work on your wants and needs and your replacement beliefs next week. So next session, we're going to reprogramming the limiting beliefs at the cellular level. We're going to use gratitude statements, and I'll show you how to glean gratitude statements from your replacement belief systems to move to gratitude. And that's actually a more powerful shift for us to do that. So I'll get that next week, or in 2 weeks, I should say. So if you have any questions, type them in, please. Be happy to do that. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do is I am going to give you the ability to unmute yourself or turn on your videos if you want, and you can certainly use your voice to share with me whatever you want to share with me. Okay. So if not, we can always say goodbye right now, and then connect with you in 2 weeks for lesson 3. All right. Okay, I don't see anything coming through. Sounds like you guys are working on whatever you need to work on. It's beautiful. It was wonderful chatting with you. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I will chat with you in 2 weeks. Take care for now.